Hello, my name's Albin and I'm from an electric car startup here in Lund. And as said earlier, we were invited just very short notice today to talk about the products that these batteries actually go into. And we're at Uniti, we're really trying to be agile with this. A lot of producers of EVs today, like Volkswagen and BMW, have locked into contracts which get conflict minerals in batteries. And so at Uniti, we're trying to be agile with everything we do. So we're developing and designing a vehicle for city use. And we're really trying to optimize that vehicle for the battery, which is the Achilles heel. So we're using lightweight materials in the body and the chassis to minimize the amount of battery capacity needed for lengthier trips. We're also trying to optimize the vehicle for the usage patterns that we actually use electric cars for today, which is, an average of 1.2 people per vehicle trip, instead of designing a big SUV or sedan vehicle, which you might use once or twice a year when you go to a ski trip to Åre. And so all these things come down to really what battery we're going to choose. So we launched our product the 7th of December last year. And now we're just in the process, which is super interesting that we're here, of choosing suppliers. And as we've seen, we've looked a lot at Fairphone, which you might have heard of, is a company trying to develop a sustainable cell phone. So it's, it's quite similar. And they've looked into a lot of these aspects that we've talked about today. And we find some similarities where, they were talking about Samsung, Apple having all these conflict minerals and them trying to change everything as a smaller player. And we're kind of the same in that industry. So looking at how it's gone for Fairphone, it's quite problematic. As we've seen earlier today, it's quite the challenge to find battery producers where you have transparency and you have insight into where the product actually comes from. And especially leveraging that as a smaller player as ourselves. But that's where, as our last speaker said, is where we're trying to look into innovations in the battery industry. We, as a smaller startup, can actually try to be agile in where the battery technology is going and where we see the future of batteries going. Because, as said, it's not just about a battery, it's about energy storage in all aspects of the car and afterwards and in renewable energy. So we're talking to Finnish and Israeli companies that are looking into newer technologies such as solid-state batteries and similar batteries that actually don't use these minerals. And the problem is really that we as a smaller player can't leverage these newer technologies because they're not in production yet. So I was hoping that we could I, as the product and development part of this kind of talk, could answer your questions, and just as a short introduction, so you know who I am, and I guess we take the questions, if that feels all right. I didn't prepare a longer presentation because you came today. Thank you very much. Thank you.